All right. Hey, everybody. Episode number 37 of The Modern Meeting. My name is Adam. I'm a compulsive gambler. My last bet, February 8th, 2022.
And I'm Jen. Hi. Also compulsive gambler. Last bet 10/16/2023.
So I was on this call the other day, and I'm starting to get asked to be like on a lot of these different, I don't even know what to call them. Like basically it's just like people like throughout the state who like have these like initiatives that they're trying to pass and so like I'm getting to be a part of these Zoom calls that are amazing, and I get to share my story.
Yeah, that's incredible.
It's awesome. But it's some people that I met at the Mass Council for Problem Gambling conference. But so we were listening to these two people who are actually going to be on the Modern Meeting soon. I just talked to them today, but they're starting national self-exclusion.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is incredible.
Now, before we get into it and what I think about self-exclusion, just in case the Modern Meeting listeners don't know. So self-exclusion is when you essentially ban yourself from a particular casino. Now, if you've heard my story, which most of you, I'm assuming you have, in 2016, I self-excluded myself from Foxwoods and Mohegan. Now, that process was not the easiest process. I had to do it at both casinos. I had to find the security guard. They bring you into a back room. You fill out all kinds of paperwork, and they're
not going to make it easy.
Oh, for sure. I know. I'm not going to say that, but you're right. You're right. But then they make you decide, do you want to do 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, lifetime? And so, I did it. So that's self-excluding. And then most places say, if you try to come back and we catch you, you could be arrested for trespassing.
Yep.
Now, of all the times I've heard people going back, I've never heard of someone who actually got arrested.
No, but I haven't either.
Because it happened to me when I worked at MGM Springfield all the time. I would swipe someone's card and they self-excluded themselves. And I'd just be like, buddy, you
really?
Can't. Oh, yeah. I'd be like, buddy, you can't be. Not all the time, but it definitely happened.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, buddy, you can't be here. Like, you can't be here.
Yeah.
He'd be like, oh, I only meant to do it at this MGM property. But like MGM, I don't know if they still do it or if they do it now, but if you sign yourself out of an MGM property, you can make it all MGM properties, which is good because
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So the reason that like I'm a little on the fence about self-exclusion is that for me, now I am definitely on board for national self-exclusion, but for self-exclusion, the way it is right now, it's like, okay, I signed myself out of Fox's Mohegan. Great. What did I do? 6 months later, I fucking moved to Vegas. And you know what I mean? So it's like the gambler, the disease finds a way, right? Like what's that line in Jurassic Park? Jeff Goldblum, life finds a way, right? when they didn't think that like they could have the dinosaur eggs. Like the disease will find a way no matter what. Mm-hmm. So that is why the national self-exclusion, the idea of, because let me ask you this. How many casinos do you think are in the state of Iowa?
Ooh. 20.
Pretty sure there's like 50.
Really?
I looked at the list the other day and it's a lot.
Yeah.
But so if I'm living in Iowa, right, and I want to self-exclude myself from every casino in Iowa, right now you got to go to 50 different casinos. Right.
And once you're in there.
And especially all these tribal casinos, right? They all have their own sovereign fucking nation. And so what these people are trying to do, and I want to give them a shout out. I believe it's the NVSP. I wish I could look at my phone. Do you have your phone?
No.
That's okay. Okay, I'm going to dub it in right now, like on YouTube. I want to give those people a shout out at NVSEP. Also, quick fact check. Jen was right. 23 casinos in Ohio. Right? And so what they're trying to do is not only make it so you can do it nationwide, but you can do it from your phone.
Wow.
Which is amazing.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah, so they're using technology where you just kind of, actually, I don't know if I can talk about this stuff. So I won't talk about this stuff quite yet. But that's the goal. The goal is that you can do it on your phone. Mm-hmm. So you don't have to go to 50 different casinos. Like we were hearing testimonials from people that like they spent a weekend driving up and down the Eastern Seaboard self-excluding from every casino because they didn't want it. I mean, so it's like, from an operator's perspective, if you meet someone who tells you that, yeah, like let's say you're an operator in Atlantic City and someone comes into you and says, I want to self-exclude myself. I don't want to play here anymore. And then as you get to talk to them, they tell you that they just spent the last 72 hours driving up and down the Eastern Seaboard self-excluding themselves. Like, how do you not fucking feel for that person? And
that is, I mean, like, my mind is blown just hearing that.
Yeah.
And I guess I've never really like looked at sort of a scenario like that, I guess, or considered a scenario like that.
Did you ever consider self-exclusion?
So I considered it. And truthfully, once I went into recovery and I had heard about self-exclusion, I was like, if I walk in that casino, especially right in the beginning, if I walk in that casino, I am not self-excluding. I'm sitting down at a slot machine. And I'm going to say one last hurrah before I self-exclude.
Which is what I did.
Yeah.
I did at both places.
And as you were talking, before you even got to the point of you self-exclude from one place, you're just going to drive to the other, I'm sitting here going, oh, the gambler in me I would have been driving down to Atlantic City. Yeah. Like, for me, when I first got into recovery, I had a couple of things legally that I was really concerned about. And so, I had talked to a couple of people from GA and my peer counselor and the other program that I'm in. And the advice was, if you self-exclude and you go back and try to gamble anyway, now you're going to be in double the legal trouble. So it was sort of pointed out to me that I could do it, but it was really dependent on, was I serious about recovery or not?
Yeah. And so I'm just being honest. I whether you call me a whistleblower or not, like, they don't do anything. Most of them don't fucking do anything. But I'll tell you right now, if you win a jackpot, you ain't getting that money.
You're not
if you self-excluded.
Nope.
So like that's just something to think about if you're out there and you're still gambling and you're thinking about. But I have a question for you, and be honest, clear your mind, give me the answer right away.
Okay.
Whatever comes in your head. If you could right now, today, if you could go press a button on your phone and self-exclude from every casino in the country.
In the world, yes.
You would?
Yes.
Oh, I love that.
Yes. And I was hoping that was a question that you were going to ask, and that's what makes me so excited about hearing about this.
Yeah.
Because the prospect of self-excluding from one, what's the point if you're not going to self-exclude from them all?
For sure.
And so, like, I guess that's probably what really, for me, did it was, I know in that moment when I'm first in recovery, if I self-exclude from one, I'm just going to drive to another.
No, you nailed it on the head. Like everything that I've been trying to say, like you just nailed it. Like bottom line is that if you can't self-exclude from every fucking casino, it's not, to me, it's not, you're just going to find a way. You're just going to make it harder on yourself.
Yeah. I mean, we have talked about it in the past, so I don't want to talk to death, but especially now with the gambling on the phone, people like myself and other people who have been on the podcast would drive just to get across state lines to play at the casino in Connecticut for online. Yeah. And so if you're not just going to say self-excluding wipes away, I can't go into any casinos, I don't want to say what's the point, because it is beneficial for some people, but I think for the deep rooted addict, those that have a history especially of driving super far to gamble, or B, if you have ever driven to the casino with some of your money, turned around, gone home, gotten the rest of your money, and then gone back, you need to self-exclude entirely.
Yeah. I want to keep talking about this, but I'll say this. 2016, Adam, no, even though, at the lowest of lows I was at, right, when I self-excluded from Fox's Mohegan, no fucking way would I have self-excluded from every casino back in 2016. And honestly, when I thought about this question today, I would do it, but I definitely got like a weird feeling. I'm just being honest. Like, for the rest of my life, and I know people are listening right now and be like, what do you mean? Of course you don't want to. I'm just saying, I'm not saying I wouldn't do it. I would do it, but I definitely had there's a weird like is the word finality. Is that the right word? But like, it's just a very, it's final and it's done and it's, you know what I mean? So, cause here's what I will say too about self-exclusion for a gambler like me. If I somehow found a way to self-exclude myself from every casino in the world back in 2016, that would have been a lot of driving and a lot of legwork. But if I ever did do that, guess what I'm doing? I'm fucking playing Keno and I'm scratching tickets and I'm finding a bunch of bookies. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I guess to sum all of this up.
So wait, I'm sorry. I have a question because I'm not a sports bettor.
Yeah.
So a bookie, and I know that we've talked about it on here, and they actually place the bet for you?
No, they take the bet.
Okay.
So basically, you could find, let's just say you call me, right?
Yep.
And you say, and I'm a bookie. I'm Joe the bookie. How you doing? You say, hey Joe, I want $100 on the Yankees. Because I just found out you're a Yankee fan. So dumb. Joe then says, okay, Jen, $100 Yankees, you got it. Done. And that's literally it. Then it's up to Joe to pay you if the Yankees win, and you pay Joe if the Yankees lose. And so, but what a bookie does is they get multiple Jens, and they have a bunch of people betting through them.
Right.
And they just, they have the bankroll or they have the balls to take everybody's action.
Yeah, I mean, I think, and like I said, I know that we've talked about, I know that you've explained this, and so I should already...
No, that's okay. We got some new listeners that might not know.
Right, and like with sports betting, it's just so out of my realm of anything that I touch that I almost tune out a lot of times when we're talking sports betting, and not on purpose. It's just something that I'm not familiar with and I don't know too much about. But this whole time, I really just thought a bookie was just like maybe loan shark.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
They're cut from the similar cloth.
Yeah.
But no, and it's funny that you you never had any experience with sports betting, because that's literally now like what everyone's doing.
I know.
Sports betting is the thing right now.
I know.
Which to me is also just it's so funny because of my 20 years that like sports betting was probably like number 6 on my list. Like it was craps, Keno slots, regular slots, roulette, poker, and then sports betting probably.
Yeah, no, never did it. It was a foreign language to me, and.
But so I think it's really interesting, and I hope that I hope that they continue to push through the legislation or whatever they got to do to get this, because it could help a lot of people.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Absolutely.
All right, we'll be right back.